Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, I hope you guys are doing good today. So as you guys all know, yesterday was the 2026 Grammy Awards, and it was also the first day of Black History Month, so happy Black History Month to everybody out there. So a lot of stuff went down at the Grammy Awards. A lot of celebrities decided to use their collective voices to speak out against ICE. They wore ICE out pins and everything else. But one of the most notable things is that Trevor Noah, who was the host of the Grammys, he kind of gave a speech and he went in on Donald Trump and also mentioned Epstein's Island, and let's just say the commander-in-chief was not happy about it. So I'm going to go ahead and play you guys what Trevor Noah had to say and Trump's response to Trevor Noah.
Song of the Year. Congratulations, Billie Eilish. Wow. That is a Grammy that every artist wants, almost as much as Trump wants Greenland. Which makes sense. I mean, because Epstein's Island is gone, he needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton. So, oh, I told you it's my last year. What are you going to do about it? Oh. Song of the Year.
Child, they wasn't ready for that joke. He said he's going out with a bang, bitch. So, like I said, Donald Trump was not happy about this, and this is what he had to say. So Donald Trump says the Grammy Awards are the worst, virtually unwatchable. CBS is lucky to not have this garbage litter their airways any longer. The host, Trevor Noah, whoever he may be, is almost as bad as Jimmy Kimmel at the low ratings Academy Awards. Noah said incorrectly about me that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton spent time on Epstein's Island. Wrong. I can't speak for Bill, but I have never been to Epstein Island nor anywhere close. And until tonight's false defamatory statements, have never been accused of being there. Not even by the fake news media. Noah, a total loser, better get his facts straight and get them straight fast. It looks like I'll be sending my lawyers to sue this poor, pathetic, talentless dope of an MC and suing him for plenty. Ask George Slopinopoulos and others how all that worked out. Also ask CBS. Get ready, Noah. I'm going to have some fun with you. President DJT. Honey. Okay, so he's really in his feelings. And other people have accused you of being on Epstein's Island, not just Trevor Noah. So him going off and wanting to sue, you know, typical Trump fashion, not shocked at all. But there were a lot of other recording artists that decided to use their platforms for once to speak out about ICE and what was going on. Not all of the celebrities spoke, but several of them used the platforms and used their acceptance awards to speak out against ICE. Like I said, a lot of celebrities were wearing ICE out pins. So I'll show you guys some of those celebrities right now. So these are just a few of the celebrities that wore the ICE out pins. You can see Billie Eilish right here in her pin. We have Justin and Hailey Bieber. And they have their pins on that say ICE out. Let's see here. We also have Kehlani. You can see hers up close and personal. It says ICE out. We have Phineas. He has an ICE out pin. Amy Allen has hers. Samara Joy also wore hers, okay? So on top of them wearing these ICE out pins, like I said, several celebrities decided to use their platform to speak out about what is going on currently in our country with immigration, with ICE, and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and watch some of those speeches right now.
I feel like I need to say anything but that no one is illegal on stolen land. And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter, and the people matter, and fuck ICE is all I want to say. Sorry.
So y'all basically heard her say fuck ICE at the end. Let's go on to the next.
I say is that everybody is so powerful in this room and in this room later, and together we're stronger in numbers to speak against all the injustice going on in the world right now. Yeah. So instead of letting it be just a couple of you here and there, I hope everybody's inspired to join together as a community of artists and speak out against what's going on. And I'm gonna leave this and say, fuck ICE.
Lonnie.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm gonna say ICE out.
So you guys heard Kehlani, Billie Eilish, Bad Bunny say that. So now I really want to get on the whole Shabuzzi and Jelly Roll aspect, okay? And this is what I'm really doing the video. So Shabuzzi had one of the hottest songs last year, which was Tipsy. And if you guys went to my Millie party last year, y'all know we had a ball in Nashville. They played that song everywhere we went. People were line dancing to, you know, Tipsy. This, you could not go anywhere without hearing Tipsy by Shabuzzi. So last year he was nominated not just for one, but for 6 Grammy Awards, and he didn't win not one. He was also nominated at the CMA Awards, the Country Music Awards, but he also didn't win as well. And there was a lot of microaggressions that they were doing to him at the Country Music Awards by making his microphone super low when Shaboozey is very tall. They were mispronouncing his name. It was a lot of funny things that were going on with him breaking into this country music space last year. So it's very interesting that a whole year later he ends up winning, but only because of the song that he did with Jelly Roll. And the song is called Amen. And a lot of people really like this song. Now, what I find very interesting is that when Shaboozey was solo dolo, the Grammys didn't look at him twice, even though he had the #1, you know what I'm saying, country song in the country last year. It was on the Billboard for weeks. He did not get any type of Grammy Award. But then he connects with Jelly Roll, who's very popular in country music, okay? And so he finally wins his first Grammy Award, but it's with the collaboration with Jelly Roll. So what was very interesting is that when Shaboozey went up there to say his speech, he was crying. As you guys know, Shaboozey is Nigerian American, and he was talking about, you know, immigrants and how immigrants helped to build this country. He was very emotional. Jelly Roll spent more time talking about God than addressing anything with ICE, anything with immigration. So I want y'all to watch both of their speeches, and I'll come back with the rest of my commentary.
I said, dear God, I just want to say thank you. Nothing is possible without you. Your love and will preserves me through it all. I want to also thank my mother, who as of today has retired from her job after 30 years. I have the greatest team in the world. Thank you so much. And again, the last thing I want to say, immigrants built this country, literally. So this is for them, for all children of immigrants. This is also for those who came to this country in search of better opportunity, to be a part of a nation that promised freedom for all and equal opportunity to everyone willing to work for it. Thank you for bringing your culture, your music, your stories, and your traditions here. You give America color. I love y'all so much. Thank you.
So that was Shaboozey's speech, and I have to pause it because of copyright. So now we're going to go ahead and listen to Jelly Roll's speech as well.
I know they're going to try to kick me off here, so just let me try to get this out. First of all, Jesus, I hear you and I'm listening, Lord. I am listening, Lord. Second of all, I want to thank my beautiful wife. I would have never changed my life without you. I'd have ended up dead or in jail. I'd have killed myself if it wasn't for you and Jesus. I thank you for that. I thank you for my label, Broken Bow, Country Radio, baby. What's up, dog? Oh, Republic, John Manili, we did it, baby. There was a time in my life, y'all, that I was broken. That's why I wrote this album. I didn't think I had a chance, y'all. There was days that I thought the darkest things. I was a horrible human. There was a moment in my life that all I had was a Bible this big and a radio the same size and a 6x8 foot cell. And I believed that those two things could change my life. I believed that music had the power to change my life and God had the power to change my life. And I want to tell y'all right now, Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is not owned by no music label. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him. I love you, Lord.
All right, so you guys just heard both of those speeches, very different speeches. So later on, people asked, you know, Jelly Roll after his win, you know, what do you think about what's going on with ICE and the political climate? And his response was really disappointing to me. Let's go ahead and listen to that right now.
I want y'all to know that, first of all, we did it, baby. This would have never happened without them, man. Imagine that. Imagine being one of the few people in the world from the very beginning that believed in this just overweight white trash kid from Tennessee that he was going to figure it out one day, and to be standing up here going, that's my guy, dude, we actually did it. I think there's a lot of people that are watching the Grammys tonight that feel like they've been represented for the first time in a long time on this kind of stage, and I'm excited to be that guy to do it.
Would you be willing to comment on what's going on in our country right now?
I don't really. So this is the truth, and I'm glad somebody asked, because I love talking about this stuff when people care to hear my opinion, but so I can tell you that people shouldn't care to hear my opinion, man. You know, I'm a dumb redneck. I haven't watched enough. I didn't have a phone for 18 months. I've had one for 4 months and don't have social media. I hate to be the artist that's that aloof, but I've become so disconnected from what's happening, and I'm just not I grew up in a house of like insane pandemonium, and like I didn't even know politics were fucking real until I was in my mid-20s in jail. Like, that's how disconnected. When you grow up in a drug addict household, you think we like have common calls about what's happening in world politics? Like, we're just trying to find a way to survive, man, you know?
All right, so you guys just heard what Jelly Roll had to say, and I, for one, as somebody who is a fan of his music, really disappointed, because they asked him straight out how he felt and he pivoted. And my thing is, he could have kept it real and stated how he really felt about it, one way or another, because we all know he's MAGA deep down inside, and that's okay. You can be on whatever side of the political aisle you want to be on, but when somebody asks you for your opinion on what the state is of the world, for him to basically say that he's a dumb redneck and he basically has his head buried in the sand, that lets you know the epitome of his white privilege. The fact that now he can just play dumb and act aloof. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not the same energy he had a few years ago. See, a lot of people forget that Jelly Roll wasn't always a country star. He got in using black people, using hip hop. He was a rapper. So he used the African American community to come in and get solidified. And now that, you know, he doesn't need hip hop anymore, he's a big country star, and now he has no opinion one way or another. Now it goes back to his childhood, and now they didn't have political talks. But I find that very interesting because he forgets in 2019, he was on White Privilege, which was a Netflix series with Chelsea Handler. And she was questioning him and a bunch of other white artists. And he spoke very articulate about white privilege and, you know, just things going on in the country. So which one is it? Are you a dumb redneck? Because in 2019, you seem to have all your faculties, sir. So let me go ahead and show y'all this receipt.
What do you think the answer to people and their like kind of innate racism is?
I think racism is led by ignorance. It comes down to one of the talks we had at the barbershop when you first sat down. Nobody comes to sit down to talk to us.
Well, but this is the thing you're saying. When you're saying we were using the phrase white trash, people assume with the white trash is not being educated.
Right.
People who go to jail.
So that is Jelly Roll right there. Okay, this was just in 2019. So what happened? All of a sudden he doesn't know politics and his head has been buried in the sand. I don't like when people play willfully ignorant or try to be disingenuous and play in my face, because this is not the energy that you had in 2019.
Jail. People who don't have an education. And people,
but see, that's another thing. Now we confuse people for go to jail as uneducated people. Just like we often confuse schooling for education, right? It's a lot of people that went to great schools that are uneducated. So it's a constant thing of we're always trying to box something. Does that make sense?
It does.
And it's like, well, no, you got to check off every single box. And if you're this, then you pretty much stand for every other box that's with this. If you're the Southern box, so you're a racist, you're a piece of shit, you're a bigot, you're a fucking gun-toting, you're a Bible believer, you're a Christian, and all this because of the one big box. And it's just, I think that's where we're fucked up. We keep bringing everything down to these weird-ass boxes.
So as you see, Jelly Roll is not unaware of what's going on around him. He understands the state of the world. And like I said, I don't expect him to get up there and be like F ICE, because again, to me, he's more right-leaning, and that's fine. That's his personal business. That's his political preference at the end of the day, right? But at least stand in it. At least own it. If that's how you feel, then just say that's how you feel. But see, he doesn't want to alienate any of his fan base, so he's trying to walk on eggshells and tiptoe around it. But it's very interesting that you don't have anything to say, but yet and still you just won a Grammy with the child of an African immigrant, Shabuzzi, and you have nothing to say. You're only able to cross over into country music because of African American based hip hop. You came in as a rapper. You were talking about drugs and all this stuff rapping. And then once you started getting a buzz with the black community, then you switched up and went country. And don't get me wrong, Jelly Roll got some really good songs. I do like his music, but I was just really disappointed because, again, you have close ties with the black community and with minority communities, and for you to be like, I'm a dumb redneck, I don't have social media, that was just a very disingenuous, willfully ignorant comment. When ICE doesn't threaten your parents, your livelihood, your community, then of course you get the luxury of being unaware and, you know, just being a dumb redneck. When Jelly Roll was asked this, for him to just shrug and say that he's more focused on God, even his speech up there at the Grammys was about God, to me, that's not really his spirituality talking. That's him avoiding the topic. That's him avoiding the elephant in the room. And I'm not asking Jelly Roll to have all the answers, right? Because I don't have all the answers. And at the end of the day, he's a human being just like I'm a human being. But don't sit there and use confusion as your answer when really the reality of the situation is that you're comfortable. You live a life of luxury. You're very far removed from the things that are happening social economically to people in particular area and particular demographics. And that's okay, but don't be, but don't be disingenuous and act like your head's been buried in the sand and you just have no idea about anything going on politically when that's not your stance, that's not your energy, and that's not how you were brought into my ether. Because the Jelly Roll I knew talked about things like this, had an opinion, was very articulate, learned a lot of stuff in jail. So now to just dismiss everything as you're just a dumb redneck, that's very interesting. But I feel like the reason why all of a sudden you're a dumb redneck is because of your base. Just say you don't want to offend your fans and you'd rather just be in the middle or you have no comment. But to, in one breath talk about white privilege and how, Southerners are not dumb, they're not uneducated, they're not all Christians and gun toters. These are all, stereotypes. But then not even 6 years later, you're perpetuating the same stereotype that you were denouncing in the Chelsea Handler documentary. Because you said all of those were negative stereotypes attached to white Southerners, especially poor white Southerners. And then you get up there on the Grammy stage 6 years later and you call yourself a dumb redneck? Come on. Let's not do that, sir. You're smarter than that, Jelly Roll. Way smarter than that. So what this kind of showed me at the Grammys is that basically artists like Kehlani, Billie Eilish, Chaperone, Bad Bunny, they all chose to use their platforms to speak out. And that takes a lot of courage, right? Because you don't, as an artist, you don't really want to alienate any segment of your fans, right? Because these are your fans, they buy tickets, they come to shows. But to me, that showed courage. At least they picked a side. Regardless of what side they picked a side. And they fully understand that these award shows are just not about getting a Grammy. It's just not about the trophy. It's about using that platform to amplify your voice. So while Jelly Roll sat there and chose comfort, his own collaborator, Shabuzzi, and others, they chose courage. And, one thing about history doesn't forget who stood out, who spoke out, and who stood there in silence. So anyways, tea sippers, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Let me know your thoughts on everything that went down at the Grammys. How did you guys feel about the Grammy speeches? How did you feel about Shaboozey only now winning a Grammy Award because of his collaboration with Jelly Roll versus last year when, Tipsy was popping and was all over the billboards and he didn't win anything? Also, how do you feel about the speeches? What Shaboozey had to say and what Jelly Roll had to say, and how Jelly Roll just basically tucked his head in the sand and played crazy as if I don't have receipts from 6 years ago where he was speaking very articulate, and was, he had a stance and he stood in that stance, and now it's different. But like they say, once the money comes in, people switch up. So anyways, I look forward to reading y'all's comments down below. Please hit this video with a like. Feel free to share the video, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.